Salutations cyberspace and welcome to the JCal Arts channel, and if you're new here, consider joining the JCal Arts universe. On this channel I do Let's Draws, which are the art equivalent of Let's Plays, where I have a time lapse of a drawing I did and discuss anything related to the drawing and the drawing itself. And if that interests you, click that red button down below and help expand this universe that I have building up here. We finally made it to the end of the Let's Draw Warrior Cats video series, and what other way than to end with the edgy villain clan of Warrior Cats, ShadowClan. So I'll be picking 3 of my favorite cats from ShadowClan and giving them the furry RPG makeover. So let's begin. The first ShadowClan cat I'll be drawing today is Tawny Pelt, and Tawny Pelt to me was the first ShadowClan cat that wasn't evil. Well, everyone knows that I read the Warrior Cats books out of order. You can watch the part 1 of this Warrior Cats video series to find out which order I read it in. But when I was reading the second arc first, I knew about Tiger Star and his actions and got the general vibe that ShadowClan is where most of the bad guys come from. But Tawny Pelt is nothing like them. She is devoted to her clan, as all warriors should be in the series, but she's still loyal and has a sense of morality. And it seems like if you're half clan cat like Tawny Pelt, you always have to kind of keep your eyes open both within your clan and outside of it, and deal with people thinking you're not loyal and always assuming the worst out of you, because being half clan, I guess, makes you a second class citizen in that way. Like, how could we trust you when you have kin in the other clan? But then again, everyone keeps working that warrior code where you have to mate with people within your own clan, and you would think after all of the cats who had children with cats from different clans that this part of the warrior code would be abolished, but it's still kicking around and alive. But whatever, we're just gonna work with it, and if it weren't for that warrior code being broken, we wouldn't have cool characters like Tawny Pelt here. I wanted to say that I support Tawny Pelt's decision to leave ThunderClan for ShadowClan. I believe she was making a decision that was best for her and joining the clan she felt more accepted in. But I also understand that their clan cats having, some PTSD of sorts from Tiger Star's shenanigans, and he basically did most of the harm from ShadowClan. So it's a messy situation, and no judgment on Tawny Pelt's part, because she ended up doing good things when she was in ShadowClan anyway. So I wanted to talk about her design finally. And even though I'm using African tribes as a inspiration for the costume design in these Let's Draws, for Tawny Pelt particularly, I wanted to take inspiration from Ivy from Fire Emblem Engage, because she, from the looks of her pictures, because I'm not playing that game, it seems to be the Ice Queen trope, very distant, closed off. And I just think it'll be a good fit for Tawny Pelt. So she wears a long skirt and a midriff showing top that's dark purple, because we're talking about the edgy clan here. And she has a wreath of black charcoal colored pines around her shoulders and neck. And she has 2 strings of red beads hanging from that wreath. And she's holding a Lukasa. And the Lukasa is a memory board where Central African tribes will put beads, metal, and other things into it to record history, battles, and such. And so I'm repurposing it as effectively a tome of sorts where she can cast spells, because if Warrior Cats characters were able to do more than swipe with their claws, then I would think Tawny Pelt would be a dark mage, but that's just me personally. The next ShadowClan cat I'll be drawing is Tigerheart. Tigerheart is an important side character in the 3rd arc of Warriors Cats, Omen of the Stars, and he is the son of Tawny Pelt, which will make him the nephew of Brambleclaw and the grandson of Tiger Star. So we got 3 generations of evil here. Ha ha ha, just kidding. I know whoever does the family trees in the Warrior Cats wiki is going to be having fun, and I'm pretty sure the future generations of Warriors Cats are going to be all related to each other in some way, because the gene pool ain't that wide, if you know what I mean. But Tigerheart, at least for me personally, is a more fun version of Brambleclaw, and I'm basically saying Brambleclaw is more serious and determined, while Tigerheart is just more arrogant and brash and hot-headed. So I just think Tigerheart just has more of a oomph to his personality that Brambleclaw doesn't have, because Brambleclaw is more main character in personality, if you know what I mean by that. And Tigerheart seems to be very, very attractive because his future mate, Dovewing, ended up leaving ThunderClan to join ShadowClan to be with him and raise their kids together. So I guess Tigerheart is a gym bro at heart. But anyway, if you can't tell, I'm quite fond of this character. And just like his mother, Tawny Pell, he's an example of ShadowClan cats not all being terrible or evil characters, but that's not gonna be a continuing trend with the final cat of this Let's Draw. Tigerheart's visual design will be based off his grandfather, Tiger Star, who I designed in this very first Let's Draw video I did of Warriors Cats, so I encourage you to watch that one after you're done watching this one, of course. But Tigerheart's design is going to share the same headdress as Tiger Star, but it's a purple band and charcoal black feathers. He also has the same big bushy hair that I gave Brambleclaw as well, but it's shorter and hidden behind the headdress. And I have him wearing a different loincloth, and I'm going to be showing the picture reference. And this picture reference is of a man who's supposed to be dressed like a Zonde warrior. The Zonde warriors come from Central Africa. And he's wearing deep red and black boots as well. So he's kind of assimilating into the color scheme I've established for ShadowClan. And I'll just say drawing the stripes and other fur patterns for the Warriors cats has been the hardest struggle for me personally. So I'll just put that out there because there's no consistent, I guess, look for any of the Warriors cats characters. There's a lot of artistic interpretation you have to do for yourself. And that kind of just gives me low-key anxiety when it's not my own original characters because I'm afraid of doing it wrong. But I'm just throwing that out there. And I have Tigerheart wielding a Konda sword, which are these big swords that are used for combat, but I also know that in Central Africa, they can make these big swords that are more so used as currency to trade with. So that's just an interesting fact to throw out there. The final ShadowClan cat and final warrior cat of this video series is Blackfoot. Blackfoot fits the stereotype of his clan pretty well, morally dubious, always down for a fight, and be doing some sketchy stuff. So I knew Blackfoot as Black Star because everyone knows I read the second arc, The New Prophecy, before the other books and the other arcs. And Blackfoot ended up doing a lot of stuff in his history to make him a very morally questionable character, to say the least. Before Tiger Star became leader in the first arc, he participated in a raid on ThunderClan that ended up taking out a ThunderClan elder, so he killed a cat lady and got exiled alongside his leader, Broken Star, who was the one who headed the raid. And then Tiger Star came in, made him deputy, so he's a second-hand man, and he assisted in Tiger Star's evil actions in the first arc. And then after all the chaos, he was the leader of ShadowClan, and during his leader ceremony, he basically told the ancestors that he was just following orders. And Warrior Cats fans, where have you heard that rhetoric before? And so, character-wise, Blackfoot sucks, but I find his visual design to be striking because he's a big white cat with black fur paws and black fur-tipped ears on solid white fur, so that's always just been a striking visual. And I can visualize, quite frankly, this annoying warrior cat. I don't have much else to say. He fits the trope of ShadowClan cats and their ethical dubiousness. Blackfoot's costume is the same as Tigerheart's, but instead he's wearing a purple cap and he has red beads that have pointy knives sticking out of it because I just want to make him look like just that kid at school who be bullying other kids. He's big, he's large, he's in charge, he has the cocky attitude, he's leaning on his Konda sword and checking himself out as far as, his muscle. And I just envision him being that type of jerk who just makes you want to punch him in the face. And he was like that in the first arc personally when I went back to read it. And I ended up learning the context of Black Star. And I just can't believe it. Blackfoot really does fit the stereotype of ShadowClan cats. And I can be wrong, Warrior Cats fans, but doesn't ShadowClan struggle with resources? And that's what leads sometimes to their aggressive behavior. So they're Nor from Fire Emblem Fates. Oh my god. And then, I don't know, at least from the first 3 arcs, it doesn't seem like the clans ever address the fact that ShadowClan gets the worst part of the resources when it comes to the land that the Warrior Cats live on. But, okay, it's just a big mess. But I am willing to stomach Blackfoots if we can get more Tigerhearts and Tawny Pelts. But this is going to be the end of this Let's Draw video series, and I'll have the playlist created later down the line. And I'd like to thank everyone who's been sticking on this very long artistic journey with me. And I'll see you in the next video.